So good morning, everyone. We are really glad to see you here today, especially on a beautiful day like this. And I'll ring our Tibetan bowl and give us a chance to clear our minds, get the many cares and worries and push them aside, and let's just focus on this ringing tone as it diminishes.
This is Monday.
Thank you, Michael. Makes even a Monday morning cheery. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Harry, for the nice flower arrangement that you brought in today. And good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Universalists of the Chester River. A special welcome to friends, neighbors, all of you who are present here in the sanctuary, and those joining us on Zoom. And let me remind you, you Zoomers are being projected on our front wall. So we are all seeing all of you, unless you choose to disguise your images. And you might want to consider that depending on what you have going on at home. Our mission, as noted on the cover of your order of service, is to inspire, inform, and support all who seek spiritual and personal growth in a more equal and just community. I am Jan Sprinkle, worship leader today, joining Reverend Kimberly DeBoos for a discussion on celebrating spring as part of the independent web of existence. Reverend DeBoos serves the Cedarhurst UUs in Finksburg, Maryland, as well as conducting an active consulting ministry. Welcome to the Eastern Shore on this beautiful morning. This is not Kimberly's first visit with us. I came across some words of Langston Hughes. I found them moving and relevant. It's an earth song. And I've been waiting long for an earth song. It's a spring song. I've been waiting long for a spring song. Strong as the bursting of young buds, strong as the shoots of a new plant, strong as the coming of the first child from its mother's womb, an earth song, a body song, a spring song. I've been waiting long for an earth song. Now, for today's announcements, not an insignificant list of announcements. I'll start with the shorter ones. Finance Committee would like to add 2 new members. A finance background is not required. Please contact Jim Lavin or Tom Tantarski if you're interested in meeting, what is it, quarterly that you guys meet? And that's not a huge ask, but we do ask that you be serious about it. So talk to Jim. Building and Grounds has scheduled a UUCR grounds spring cleanup on Saturday, April 18th. We can only hope it's a day as beautiful as this. Starting at 8 in the morning, should be finished by noon or earlier. Bring your own gardening tools and whatever else you think you might need. We need a host for this coming Friday's potluck. If no one signs up, then it'll be canceled. The way the potlucks work, it's either at your residence or your place, or it can be hosted here in the church. So please check in and let us know if you're willing to do that. We are approaching due date for committee annual reports. We'd like them by no later than April 16th. So that's coming right up. Today, right after the service, our fledgling choir is going to do a quick run-through practice. And I would like to take this opportunity to open up the choir. For those of you who are the hidden singers, the ones who would like to stand up here and have all the fun we're having. So pop up here shortly after the service, not immediately, and we'll do a run-through of a round that Catherine has asked us to work up for next week, I think, right? Yeah. And finally, we have an update on the sanctuary projection service. It's quite long. I'm not going to read the whole thing. It is in the reflections notice. But I will just call your attention to the fact that over the past few weeks, you have seen several variations on the way it's projected and so forth and so on. There is a task force that is bringing all of this together. One of those efforts, which will probably show up next week, is going to be relocating the little control table from right there, partially in front of the door, to along that back wall. So just be aware, read the reflections notice to get more details, and more is coming on the projection. And I think that takes care of the announcements. Let's move on to the chalice lighting. Reverend Kimberly will light the chalice, and I'll lead us in the words as they're in your order of service. May the light of this chalice give light and warmth to our community when we are joyful and when we despair. And may we feel the warmth spread from our circle to wider and wider circles until they belong to the one circle of life. If we get our hymnals out, open to hymn number 21. Thank you. For the beauty of the earth, stand if you're willing and able, please.
Our call to worship today comes from the Reverend Evan Carvel-Zemer. If we lived in another climate, our souls might speak other languages. We might speak of oasis or permafrost, dry season or monsoon, but our souls speak spring. Our souls speak green shoots pushing through last year's leaves. Our souls speak flower buds stretching to the sun. Our souls speak mud puddle and nest building, damp earth and worm casings, tiny green leaves and frog choruses. We speak spring because spring sings in us. We gather to nurture our faith in our own growing, our own courage to push through, our own blossoming of beauty, our own small part in the spring of this world. Come, let us worship together. And now let us share with one another. I watched a video put together by Hank Green of pictures that were taken from Artemis II and talking about the
Nice to meet
artistry,
you.
but also what they all mean
The
and
little
how
one is
important
hello to you.
these are, okay, how important these all are. And I was reminded of a poem that was written for and is now engraved on NASA's Europa Clipper. It's headed far into some of our more distant planets. Ada Limon writes, "In praise of mystery. Arching under the night sky inky with black expansiveness, we point to the planets we know. We pin quick wishes on stars. From Earth, we read the sky as if it is an unerring book of the universe, expert and evident. Still, there are mysteries below our sky. The whale song, the songbird singing its call in the bough of a wind-shaken tree. We are creatures of constant awe, curious at beauty, at leaf and blossom, at grief and pleasure, sun and shadow. And it is not darkness that unites us, not the cold distance of space, but the offering of water. Each drop of rain, each rivulet, each pulse, each vein. O second moon, we too are made of water, of vast and beckoning seas. We too are made of wonders, of great and ordinary loves, of small invisible worlds, of a need to call out through the dark."
To support the good works of this church, both within and in the greater community, we'll now pass the baskets, and let me thank you in advance for your generosity. Thank you, Michael. Hard not to sing along with that. This is a reading from Bird Baylor, The Way to Start a Day. The way to start a day is this: go outside, face the east, greet the sun with some kind of blessing or chant or song that you made for yourself and keep for early morning. The way to make a song is this: don't try to think what words to use until you're standing there alone. When you feel the sun, you'll feel the song too. Just sing it. But don't think you're the only one who ever worked that magic. Your caveman ancestors knew what to do. They sang to help the sun come up and lifted their hands to its power. A morning needs to be sung to. A new day needs to be honored. People have always known that. They don't chant at dawn in the sun temples of Peru and leap and sway to the Aztec flutes in Mexico and drum sunrise songs in the Congo and ring 1,000 small gold bells in China. Didn't the pharaohs of Egypt say the only sound at dawn should be the sound of songs that please the morning sun? They knew what songs to sing. People always seemed to know. And everywhere, they knew what gifts the sun wanted. And everywhere, they knew to turn their faces eastward as the sun came up. Some people still know. When the first pale streak of light cuts through the darkness, whenever they are, wherever they are, those people make offerings and send strong, mysterious songs to the sun. They know exactly how to start a day. Today, long before dawn, they were already waiting. Some people say there is a new sun every day, that it begins its life at dawn and lives for one day only. They say you have to welcome it. You have to make the sun happy. You have to make a good day for it. You have to make a good world for it to live its one-day life in. And the way to start, they say, is just by looking east at dawn. When they look east tomorrow, you can too. Your song will be an offering, and you'll be one more person at one more place at one more time in the world, saying hello to the sun, letting it know you're there. If the sky turns a color sky never was before, just watch it. That's part of the magic. That's the way to start a day. And now, Reverend Kimberly.
So I love spring. I especially love spring here in Maryland. And that's because we don't just get a couple, 3 weeks of spring hurrying up from snow to blooms. That 3-week rush between the freezing cold and the blaze of summer that happens in so many other parts of the world. Spring unfolds gently here, more deliberately, each week showing more and different colors, trees blooming in a sequence that captures our attention, and the mellifluous cacophony of birds that rouse us each morning. The problem, of course, is that my love for spring is unrequited. Opening my windows for the fresh spring breezes means a yellow haze all over my house, and my eyes, and my throat, along with the sinus headaches and the scratchy allergies. But still, as you can see, I love spring. Although I don't love the changes we see in how spring or any of our seasons have been unfolding. Watching climate change happen in real time has been distressing. As we weather stronger and more violent storms and witness warmer temperatures causing, among other things, the melting of ice caps and the loss of habitats. And in the last year or so, it's been even harder. Between recent policies and executive orders bent on reversing green energy efforts that had a chance of slowing climate change, and the reporting from scientists that show that the door to limiting global warming within 1.5 degrees Celsius of increase is rapidly closing. And that we're already overproducing fossil fuels. And while there is still hope, it's going to take some extraordinary policies and investments and an end to fighting. It's enough to make us all want to go home and crawl into blanket forts and never come out again, which is assuredly what we're not called to do. And not just from a climate justice standpoint, but from our role as earthlings. I think sometimes we forget that we're earthlings, although watching the news with Artemis 2 kind of made that a little more clear lately. And there are some people in some faiths who don't believe that Earth is our home, but rather heaven is. That's why you hear things like God is calling us home. It's why there's pushback in some fundamentalist circles about climate change because, and yes, this is real, they believe that the sooner the earth is destroyed by an apocalypse, the sooner we shall see the second coming of Christ and the faithful will be raptured into heaven. Which is a pretty ridiculous way to understand who we are on our planet, but there it is. Clearly, they forget that we are not visitors of this planet. Indeed, we are of this planet. Eco-theologian Sally McFeig reminds us that we must understand human beings as earthlings. We belong here. We are connected to the earth, from the earth, living on the earth, and some of us are working to save the earth. Do we honor the earth? Do we actually understand this planet as one to celebrate, to give thanks for, to acknowledge, to deepen our relationship with? Baylor reminds us that as long as we've been Homo sapiens on this earth, we have acknowledged and paid honor to the rising of the sun, which of course our ancient ancestors didn't understand scientifically, but which was still connected to the earth because of the gifts the sun brings us: warmth, color, light, time. And even now, with our understanding of planetary movements and gravity, seasons, it is still something special. How many times do we see pictures of beautiful sunrises and sunsets? How often do we gather in special places like Bar Harbor, Maine, where dawn first breaks in the United States, or the Arizona desert, where the sunset manifests in a symphony of colors? And all that the sun gives us on this planet for us and every living thing so we may thrive. How can we not honor this amazing confluence of conditions that mean life? So I grew up on the northernmost mountain in the Taconic mountain range. It's a slender range just east of the Hudson River, going just from north of New York City to around Troy, New York. Taborton Mountain, and yes, it is a mountain by about 100 feet. Thank you very much. I grew up with people saying that we were making a mountain out of a molehill. It's fine. It's fine, but Taborton was lush and green with some open spaces on the leeward side for dairy farming, a bunch of ponds and lakes, one of which was on our property, A couple miles down the road from us, which was an oiled dirt road, was a family with two girls about my age, named after Lord of the Rings characters, Arwen and Bronwyn. Their mother dressed in flowy fabrics, bohemian clothing with long, wavy gray hair that she sometimes wore in a long braid. And she could be seen often in her seemingly wild permaculture gardens long before we knew the term permaculture. She was always calm and serene, at one with her surroundings. She embodied Earth Mother. And as a teen, I admired that, and I wanted to be an Earth Mother too. I am not an Earth Mother. Yet I think of Arwen and Bronwyn and their mother now and then, and I wonder if their mom taught them to be one with the earth, to honor the earth, and if they still do. Or if they're like me in urban or suburban settings, only occasionally noticing the trees or flowers or shafts of sunlight through the branches. I wonder what happens when we do remember to honor the earth. What happens when we pause simply to connect in prayer and meditation to this planet of which we are a part. I want to offer us a meditation or prayer from the Reverend Lynn Cox. Let us pray. Spirit of life, ground of our being, root of unified mystery, growing into myriad branches of expression, bring us together now. Bring us close to the earth, ear to the whispering grass, quietly, attentively, waiting with slow breaths, listening for the very stones to cry out with their rocky stories of tectonic plates meeting and parting, meeting their mineral memories of Hadean days, molten rocks flowing and joining, their ancient legends of stars born out of the collapse of other stars. Help us to remember. Help us to piece together our oneness with matter, our oneness that matters. With one more deep breath, may we rise, star stuff, walking and rolling across the surface of an impossible blue-green planet. May we join together to heal what is divided. May we find wholeness within, without, among, between. Eternal source, seed of the universe, help us to grow peace. So be it. Blessed be. Oh, do you feel it? Yeah. We are earthlings. Our oneness is not just with other humans, but with all other earthlings too. The plants and the animals and the rocks and the winds and all that is of the earth, on the earth, is earth. By our noticing, our honoring, our connection should not be all solemnity and quiet. Remember, as Baylor writes, people throughout the millennia sing and drum and ring 1,000 small gold bells. They celebrated then, and they celebrate now. In her book, Braiding Sweetgrass, Robin Wall Kimmerer writes that many indigenous traditions still recognize the place of ceremony and often focus their celebrations on other species and events in the cycle of the seasons. In a colonist society, the ceremonies that endure are not about the land, they're about family and culture. But Kimmerer calls us to create ceremonies and rituals and festivals that don't just acknowledge things from the earth, like apples or wildflowers or pumpkins, and ultimately turn them into fundraisers or commercial endeavors, which we're very good at, but rather to create ceremonies that actually engage us in the active relationship with more than human world. I want to stand by the river in my finest dress, she writes. I want to sing strong and hard and stomp my feet with 100 others so that the waters hum with our happiness. I want to dance for the renewal of the world. So how do we begin this kind of celebration? I ask this as we head toward Earth Day, a day intended to be a one-time teaching exercise held in 1970. In his book, Beyond Earth Day, Fulfilling the Promise, then Senator Gaylord Nelson of Wisconsin writes that I was satisfied that if we could tap into the environmental concerns of the general public, we could generate a demonstration that would force this issue onto the national political agenda. The idea of Earth Day began as a national teach-in on the environment, was held on April 22nd to maximize the number of students that could be reached on university campuses. By raising public awareness of air and water pollution, Nelson hoped to bring environmental causes to the national spotlight. And it was effective. According to the EPA, maybe on an archived page now, public opinion polls indicate that a permanent change in national priorities followed Earth Day. When polled in May of '71, 25% of the US public declared protecting the environment to be an important goal, a 2,500% increase over 1969. Earth Day kicked off the environmental decade with a bang, as Senator Nelson later put it. During the '70s, important environmental legislation passed: the Clean Air Act, the Water Quality Improvement Act, the Endangered Species Act, the Toxic Substances Control Act, the Surface Mining Control and Reclamation Act. In December of 1970, the EPA was established to protect human health and safeguard the natural environment. Since 1970, Earth Day celebrations have grown, but for Nelson, it was never about the celebration. He said, contrary to what some Earth Day critics today might say, my thinking was not that a one-day demonstration would convince people of the need to protect the environment. I envisioned a continuing national drive to clean up our environment and set new priorities for a livable America. Earth Day was to be the catalyst. It was not even founded to be a day of penance for all the bad things we've done to the earth, although that often shows up in our modern celebrations. It was, as Nelson wrote, founded on the spirit of desire and a sense of duty as a means to an end, not an end. Even Earth Day was not devised to be a celebration or ceremony or ritual to connect us to our fellow non-human earthlings, even though our attention turned to the earth. So what do we do to change that? Well, like any good thing, it starts one by one, each one of us taking a moment to notice. I preached here a few years ago, I think my first service with you all, about beauty and how our sense of beauty calls us to compassion and ultimately action. I led us through a meditation asking us to notice an object, not just with the five senses, but with our more expansive senses: radiation, feeling, chemical, form, design, mental and emotional senses. So what happens when we actually notice? When we take time not just to see, oh, the grass is green now, but actually look at the form of the blade, the color, the varieties, the moistness, the way it bends slightly toward the sun. What if we celebrate the ants and the ladybugs and worms around and beneath it? And notice the warmth of the sun as it beats down on us and the grass and the dandelions and the clover and the violets that pop up. I think often about laying on the grass and looking up at the clouds and being one plastered against the earth. Noticing the softness of the soil and the scratch, the tickling of the blades of grass. But then what happens when we invite others to notice? And more and more. And soon a dozen of you are looking and noticing and connecting. And maybe you suddenly decide to sing or dance in bare feet, feeling the grass beneath you and feeling the hands of others as you dance in a circle, hearing their voices, laughing and playing with others under the sun, on this earth. Is this the ritual, the ceremony, the dancing and stomping and connecting that we long for? There's a phrase that runs around internet circles when people are anxious: go touch grass. I think this is part of what that's intended to do, to connect us. Maybe this is a lot of what we mean when we talk about affirming and promoting the interdependent web of all existence. We often talk about engaging the stories and experiences of other people to do the work of justice from a place of connection and empathy and compassion. Well, it seems to me that if we have any hope of saving life on this planet we call home, we need to engage our whole selves and deepen our connection and our empathy and compassion and celebrate the beauty of this beautiful earth. How do we start? We notice, we watch, we sing, we look east at dawn. That's the way to start. So let us continue our celebration and our honoring of the earth by singing together hymn number 1064 in the Teal hymnal, Blue Boat Home. Please rise in body or spirit.
I
So our closing words come from the Reverend Lynn Harrison. Committed to respond to the call of a wounded world, we go forth with loving hearts, hands, and minds. Embracing the interconnected web of water, air, and earth, we carry a fire of sustaining hope, ever bright with love and justice. May we bring forth new wisdom, strength, and courage to create a new world not of wealth, but of well-being. A world of new peace and abundance for all. As we give thanks for this earth, our shared and singular home, may we dedicate ourselves to its ongoing care. Rising to the call deep within us and all around us, may we respond today and always with courage and with love. Go in love, go in peace, go in joy.
Chalice extinguishing words are in your order of service. The chalice is extinguished, but its light lives on. Each one of us. Let us carry the flame with us and share it with